It's Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today, we've got a bit of Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, dogs transmogrifying into elderly aunts, the joy of gladiators, a look at reality TV on the Noughties, some listener correspondence, an argument about TikTok, a bit of the lady, and I look forward to next week. Welcome to the Problematic Gazette.
It's Saturday, no school today, so what you gonna do? Well done, darling. Thank you for doing that intro. I was ready to step in as second reserve because you're not that great, are you, today? What's wrong with you?
I think Dr. Lee's got the corona, love. It's been coming on for a couple of days, and I feel like I've been racked at the moment. It's really tedious. I thought, have I overdone it on one of my many workouts? Is this aching back and shoulders? Is it lung cancer? No. This headache that feels like an axe splitting in my head. Yeah, the shivers, the sleepless nights, the nightmares I've been having. I think I've got the Rona. Someone from work's got it as well, so yeah.
Do you know what? When people say, oh, I've got coronavirus now, there's a little bit of an eye roll that goes on with it, isn't there? And
I know.
It all feels very retro.
Yeah, it really does.
That was very 5 years ago, darling.
I'm just behind the times, love. Do you know what I mean? And this is what you get when you live in the metropolis. And unfortunately, I went to a university reunion at the weekend up in Leicester. Haven't seen some of these guys since 1994, 95. It was great fun, but we did end up going into town and clubbing like two young things, kissing boys, me and my friend. Kissing the same boy at one point, which was a little bit weird. So I've probably picked it up there, love.
I'll do it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Sharing boys around, willy-nilly.
Honestly. So, yeah. So, you take the lead, darling. I'm just going to sit and snivel and ache.
I shall run us through. Okay, I'm ready to take the reins, darling. Okay, you just sit back and talk when asked questions. Okay, so what's this about your doggy Fontaine?
My dog, it's really freaking me out. She's a poodle. And she had a haircut, and now she looks like my old great aunt from the 70s. And I can't look at her because it's almost like she's channeling her. I sent a picture to my mum. My mum was like, oh my God, she really does. And Auntie Peggy used to get absolutely pissed on showing with my old nana, my great gran. They were two sisters, and they were the ones that used to go to the funerals together in all their furs and finery. Auntie Peggy would always have her hair set like a 1930s movie star, even until the 1980s. And I think that's what Fontaine is channeling. And last night I got a little bit freaked out. I think it's the Rona, probably. But I was looking at her, she was looking at me, and I went, Auntie Peggy. And she looked at me and she gave me a little wink. It's like...
The spirit of Auntie Peggy lives on. Now, when you said she used to get her hair set, is that when she used to sit under one of them dryers in her curlers?
No, because her hair was set like she was Claudette Colbert as opposed to Dusty Springfield, and it was always kind of like plastered down with a little wave. You know, those little waves with the hair grips in like that. She looked like an old 1920s flapper, if anything. And that was her look, her signature look. And as I said, now the dog's had her ears trimmed and stuff. She looks, Peggy, look at me, Peggy. Oh my God, she's looked at me again.
What if she's just started talking back to you?
Oh gosh. Well, hopefully she'll give me 10 pence for a bag of sweets that she always used to do. So I'll keep you posted on that. I know. Stop looking at me.
Okay, so anyway, enough of that. Enough. For our gazers who do not know Auntie Peggy, we may need just to move on just to retain listenership.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk
Please move on.
Let's talk about Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, which was our last episode that we released on Tuesday. It's gone down very well on the socials. People writing in saying they've discovered Faster Pussycat Kill Kill for the very first time and absolutely adored it.
Yes. Well, I'm very happy to hear that because I rewatched it the other day because I loved it so much. And I've just been putting together stuff for the socials. Oh, Auntie Peggy's wiping my bum on the carpet. Stop it, Auntie Peggy. And I rewatched it, loved it, and I just can't. I'm going to get myself a T-shirt. I'm going to get a poster. I just think it's great. And the more I look at those women, the more I'm becoming obsessed, a little bit obsessed with them. So I'm very happy to hear that people have watched it for the first time because I urge everybody just to watch it. It's coming up to, it's Saturday today. Nearly spilt the beans that we're not recording this live. But it's great for a weekend view with a little glass of wine. You know, it's perfect in that respect. So do treat yourselves because it is a treat, isn't it?
It really is. And you say you want a T-shirt now. Andrew, our Australian correspondent, emailed to
Yes.
say one of the best posters that he's seen is the German version. I'll send you a picture of it because that might be nice to
Lovely.
put on a T-shirt.
Yeah, fine. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew.
Very good. Okay, now I know you're steeped in your COVID fever at the moment, but you have been enjoying watching Gladiators, haven't you?
I can't believe. I don't know what's happened to me on Gladiators, Dave, but I absolutely love it. And I was just, it might be because I'm a bit ill, but I was watching it, an episode last night. I mean, aside from the clearly very homoerotic elements, which, and I'm sure there are a lot of young gay boys up and down the country who have a regular sexual awakening every Saturday tea time. But I just think it's just so wholesome. You know, it just gives so many positive messages to young people and children about playing fair, sticking to the rules. It's about good sportsmanship. You know, if you lose, it's okay to lose. And, you know, if winning is great, but it's just, I just got a little bit emotional last night, darling. I think it's just because I'm ill. That's what it was. But it's just so pure. I love it. I can't actually believe, because I hated it in the 90s. I thought it was a load of old tut, how much, as a 53-year-old gay man with a doctorate in social history, who can be quite serious and quite earnest, how much I love it. I urge you to watch it,
Oh,
darling.
I do. I have seen it on occasion, and I have to admit, it is quite fun. It's quite fun watching the
Yes.
underdogs beat the gladiators, etc. And I think they are a good couple, actually, a good double act. Bradley Walsh and his son Barney. They're fun, and the scripted bits in between, they're quite funny as well. Who's your favourite
Yeah.
gladiator?
Well, I think my favourite is Fury. She's one of the ladies because she's so lovely and she's fucking scary as shit. But she's so lovely with it. In terms of who's my favourite in that department, well, I'm not going to go there. But let's just say, there's one game where they have to run through five of them like British bulldogs. I wouldn't run through them, love. I just wade my way through them one by one.
Be
What you're
like,
hanging.
oh, sorry. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. Oh, sorry. I fell on the
Sorry.
ground with my legs spread open again. So sorry, everybody. Hello.
As your face
There's one
slides
where
down their glistening chest.
I'll be like that monkey in that Japanese zoo clinging to a zookeeper's leg. Have you seen him? Well, you've seen him little, what's he called? Champ. You know, it's that baby monkey that was abandoned by his mother. It's gone viral this week. Well, he keeps
Oh,
clinging to his zookeeper's legs. I'll be like that on Giant. Just stuck there. Come on, you're strong enough. Take me.
carry me around, giant.
I will cling to your thigh. There's one I have to say, when you have to go across the floor hanging on while the other gladiators are coming towards you, and then they grab you with the thighs and they try and pull you off, and it looks very, very. Oh, darling, I wouldn't mind a couple of them thighs wrapped around me, dry humping me to try and get me off me balance. Anyway, carry on. This is a family show.
So I'm sensing a theme here. Everything you say about it being wholesome, about playing the game, etc. It's literally about the flesh, isn't it?
The flesh is a big part of it, undoubtedly. I'd say like 75% flesh, 25% sportsmanship and wholesome family fun, possibly 80, possibly 85.
Okay. Okay, so talking about wholesome family fun, or at least fun, at least, Kenneth Williams would have turned 100 years old this year had he stuck
Yeah.
around. And you posted something on our Instagram and TikTok at Podcast Gaze, and I posted it on YouTube at Podcast Gaze too, and it's gone down very well, hasn't it?
It has, and I just think it's lovely because it's like that Joan Sims post I did earlier in the year, which blew up, went viral. It's lovely to see the love for Kenneth as well. And I'd actually, when I found the clip, I was delighted because I'd heard Joan Sims tell that story about basically he's talking about farting, how he's got a real problem with farting. And he does it on set. He does it on set with Maggie Smith, on stage with Maggie Smith. And then he did it on the set of Carry On Up the Khyber. And Joan Sims was very funny. And I'm just delighted to see the love for him. But what's weird is when I read that he would have been 100 like the other day, it was like, well, that just seems, I would have thought he was actually much older than that in retrospect, because if you think about it, then in the 70s, he was only 50 odd. And in that clip from the clip I posted, he was only 60 odd. So it's really weird, the kind of, we talked before about how time and aging and stuff, the passage of time, but yeah, God love him. What a legend. I'm delighted so many people have loved a bit of Kenneth, a bit of Kenny.
They don't make them like that anymore, do they? These just fabulous raconteurs. You know, people who can just sit in a room and talk, and everything that comes out of their mouths, you're just mesmerised by it. It's funny, it's humorous, has a million stories to tell. I mean, the closest person I can think of in modern day is Stephen Fry, but even then, Stephen Fry just doesn't have the, I don't know, just the mesmerity, the wit, the warmth of Kenneth Williams. I just think they just broke the mold when they made him, and there's no one like him.
Yeah. I think the person I can think of is almost is Miriam Margolyes. If you get her on a chat show, you can just let her go. But she tends to go down the filth route very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's another thing, isn't it? I mean, you know, he told kind of filthy stories, but it wasn't smut. It was never smutty. It was all done with a warmth about it. No, there's no vulgarity about him. Have you read the Kenneth William Diaries?
I haven't, but I think I'm going to, because I really enjoyed the Joan Sims autobiography. And I mean, he's a bit of another one of those kind of tragic carry-on figures, isn't he? He was very lonely, refused to let anybody in his house. Even when Joan Sims and Hattie Jakes went round to visit him once, he refused to let them in. And when he did let them in, they couldn't use the toilet at all. A bit of a loner, like Benny Hill was. It's kind of, there's something, maybe it's being in the closet, and just because he was always jealous that Charles Hawtrey could be so kind of free and out and open with his sexuality. And he said, I could never do that, unless he was in Tangiers with Joe Orton. But yeah, I'm going to read the Kenneth Williams. Do you know what? When we're finished here, I'm going to dig out a second-hand copy, buy it and read it, because I just think it'll be great. I have heard him. I mean, he's just eminently quotable, isn't it? And he's been picked up on lots of different things. I heard him once saying, oh, God, everyone's talking about the fucking moon landing. Am I the only person who doesn't give a shit? This is in 1969. I know he's lusting after Jamie McCrimmon in Doctor Who in 1966. So, who didn't, quite frankly.
Who didn't?
But yes.
Fraser Hines. He was a good-looking man, wasn't he, Fraser Hines?
He was. In a kilt, double whammy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's move on, Dr. Lee. We talked briefly last week about America's Next Top Model, a new Netflix documentary, etc. And it kind of brought to the fore, didn't it, about these Noughties reality shows, and how they're kind of being brought into question now. Some of the tactics they use, the treatment of contestants, etc. You've been reading up on that as well, haven't you?
Yeah, there seems to be a chatter. I think it's probably on the back of that America's Next Top Model documentary, which I finished, by the way. And we talked last week about how Tyra doesn't come out of it very well. I mean, there's, Miss J, the woman who did the catwalk the black guy, he had a stroke 5 years ago. Now can't walk at all. He's in a wheelchair. Was literally in a coma for 5 months. Has really struggled. There's a lovely reunion between him and Nigel and Mr. J, the judges. And they said, "Has Tyra been to visit you?" And he just goes, "No." And it's like, oh God. But anyway, on the back of that, I was reading an article which is talking about how these Noughties reality shows are now coming into sharp focus. Things like Fat Farm as well, which is an American show, and how questionable the methods were, how shitty they were, how the dreams and promises that were sold were just, clearly not intentional, just there to get viewers and just to get contestants in. I just think it's interesting that this reckoning seems to have come, 25 years down the line, because we've talked about this in one of our very early shows on What Not to Wear, how those reality shows just perpetuated so many terrible kind of things among people: fat shaming, body shaming, slut shaming, all the shaming you could possibly get. It was so kind of common in the noughties, and here we are 25 years later. But I have also heard that Tyra is planning to resurrect ANTM, so watch this space. It's just basically all I'm saying, darling, is that we very much had our finger on the pulse with this one. In fact, we were pushing the pulse with this one, I think.
We were reflecting on America's Next Top Model 6 months ago, weren't we? And we've just re-released it into our catalogue, so please refer back to that, gazers. But yeah, I would suspect the word duty of care didn't exist in the early noughties. If you mention the word duty of care, they'd be like, "Oh, you what? What's that?" And then we skip forward, don't we, where, aftercare for contestants and care during these shows is paramount. I mean, just look at the Strictly debacle a couple of years ago with various contestants accusing their dance partners of various things, and now there's always someone in the room with them. I would suspect, with America's Next Top Model, they'd be talking to them about their weight, about eating disorders. If the producers asked the contestants to do anything that was a little bit strange, like pulling all their teeth out, as in America's Next Top Model, or asking them, a white model, to wear black makeup to make them look black, then there might be someone on the sidelines thinking and piping up going, "Are you sure about this?" So yeah, it's really interesting how standards have changed in TV making. I'm sure there's still a lot behind the scenes that goes on that we don't know about. But at least it seems that there's kind of moving forward. Also, we're more litigious in a society these days, aren't we? So, you can't get away with a lot of things because you'll get sued for it. Yeah. Anyway, that went a bit deep, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Very good, darling. Now we've got some listener correspondence. Have we got some gazer emails?
Yeah, we can't read everything, unfortunately, because we get a lot of messages on Instagram, through YouTube, etc., and through our email address at problematicgaze@gmail.com. But I wanted to tell you about one new gazer who emailed in. It's from Scott. Hello, Scott. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for emailing us. He says, "I hope you're having a wonderful week. Thank you so much for your fantastic podcast. As a 60-year-old gay man who's been exploring queer cinema since the age of 15, I truly appreciate your insights and the shared passion you bring to these films." Thank you, Scott. He goes on to say, because we always... Yeah, thank you, Scott. Because we always say to our gazers, please email in suggestions of future topics for our main show. And he said, "I'm writing to suggest a future film for a future episode." Sorry, I'll say that again because I don't want to get Scott's words wrong. He says, "I'm writing to suggest a film for a future episode, the 1968 classic, The Killing of Sister George. I first discovered this film in the 90s and believe it's a complex work that I think would provide excellent material for a deep dive discussion on your show." Now, Scott, it's funny you should say that, isn't it? Because we have talked about The Killing of Sister George before.
Yes, we have. And actually, when last year we were looking for Pride Month, It was one of the ones we talked about. The only problem is that we couldn't find. There is a version of it on YouTube, but it's just a bit grainy. But I think we might have to just spend £3 and get it on Prime, darling, because it's absolutely. We've had this in our pipeline, Scott. Let's just say so. This is the push we need because it's a great film, absolutely right up our strasse. So I think, probably that won't be a spoiler, but for this year's Pride Month, I suspect we'll be looking at a bit of Beryl Reid and Susanna York getting all a bit.
You can't beat a bit of Beryl Reid, can you? So thank you, Scott, because you've pushed us into making a decision, because we can be a little bit indecisive about what we're going to do. So just for you, Scott, we're going to put The Killing of Sister George in our Pride Month series of episodes for July.
Yeah.
So thank you for emailing
also,
in. And gazers, please do email in any suggestions that you've got for future shows, where we always value them, and we'll always try and slot them in if we can.
And also, it's just lovely to hear from people, isn't it? Because it just means we're not shouting in the void like two angry puffs of a certain age. And to get lovely feedback from people who adore us.
Don't come over all Sallyfield on me.
It's the Rona, darling. It's the Rona. Oh, God, but thank you, Scott.
Come on, let's plough through. Let's plough through. Okay, tell me about James I and TikTok rabbit holes.
God, I was horrified last week because I was confronted with a situation that made me think, how do you argue with people who have gone so far down rabbit holes on social media that they have really kind of far whatever views? So I was chatting to somebody I've known for a long time, and he said that, well, you know that King James I of Scotland, famous ginger, son of Mary Queen of Scots, who becomes James VI of England. No, it's James VI of Scotland, James I of England in the 16th century. He says, well, he was a black man. I was like, what? Sorry? He went, he's a black man. And I said, hang on a second, how do you work that out then? He said, well, it's been covered up, hasn't it? I said, listen, there hasn't been covered up. I've been to the archives. I've held documents from the 16th century that have shown quite clearly descriptions of him. Famously has got white children. Blah, blah, blah. He says, well, you would say that, wouldn't you, because you've been brainwashed. I thought, hang on a second. Who's been brainwashed? I said, where did you get this information from? It transpires that there's some twat on TikTok with an England shirt on who's saying this stuff. And it struck me that it has to be these kind of extreme beliefs that get fostered on social media. There's something quite powerful about them because they make people so convinced by them that they're prepared to listen to that guy on TikTok with this nonsense idea, as opposed to somebody who has studied history for 7 academic years to get a master's and then a PhD. What is it that going down a rabbit hole means? And it's kind of arrogance. You think that, am I being arrogant? Because it just blew my mind that there's no arguing. And the more evidence I was giving to this guy, he would say, well, that's because history was being written. The stuff you've liked, it's forgeries. That, as I said, that I've been brainwashed. And he couldn't see that actually he's been brainwashed by watching one fucking 2-minute clip on TikTok from a twat on an England shirt. And it's just, I just wonder if anybody out there has had similar kind of situations, how they've dealt with it. Because obviously we know now that the more you kind of give counter arguments, the more entrenched somebody becomes in their beliefs. So what happens is that one of those things these days that you just have to go, do you know what? We're just going to have to agree to disagree, even though I know with 100% certainty that I'm absolutely correct here. What do you do? It just pissed me off.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to have to agree to disagree. And it is very strange, these rabbit holes that people go down. But I think it's always existed, right? I look, because my hubby, for his job, he has to buy all the magazines, the showbiz magazines, every week, like Bella, Best, Woman, and things like that. And
Bella, take a break.
Bella, best take a break, all that kind of thing. And everything that's, I mean, one of the famous headlines was Vanessa's depressed. She's returned to eating custard again, right? Do you remember that? It was a few years ago. And then obviously Ruth Langsford and Eamon Holmes have split up, they've divorced, etc. And one of their prime targets, who they love to put on the front of these covers, is Ruth Langsford. And they put quotes of her saying things, but if it's in two inverted commas, if that's what you call them, quotes, then it's true. But if it's just one inverted comma, anybody could make that statement up, and it looks like it's attributed to her. So it's kind of like Ruth Langsford is in hell because of Eamon's antics and stuff. But it's all made up. So they form this narrative on these people, and, you know, people believe it, people devour it, and it becomes a fact where it's all made up. You know, the tabloids, etc. You know, they form these narratives on people, but they make it up. Because another thing that my husband does is, you know, he'll get calls from journalists for one of his clients saying, we've heard this about your client. And even if he denies it, sometimes they'll say, well, we're going to print it anyway. So they'll print stuff that isn't true about somebody just because it'll generate interest in selling more magazines or selling newspapers, etc. It's the same kind of principle, really, as this guy in the England shirt thinking, actually, if I say this, I might not believe it, but it'll generate interest and it'll feed this hunger for sensational stories and things. So then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, really.
It does. And at one point, this guy showed on this TikTok documentary, there was a picture which I know was from, it's a drawing of a production of Othello that was done in the 17th century, the late 17th century. And this guy said, well, there's a picture of him as the king. I said, that's not from, that is from, I know for a fact, because I looked at this. He went, again, well, you would say that. And actually, you know, you can... It's super. If you think about the history of the conspiracy theory, they have gone right back to the 18th century when there's sufficient quantity of media to give messages across a sufficiently large population. When they started to introduce the vaccination for cholera back in the early 1800s, I can't remember exactly, or the 1700s, you get the first anti-vax movement. And you get a conspiracy theories in the media there saying, well, they're trying to do it. They're trying to convert people into Catholics. That was the argument, you know. As soon as there is media in human nature with a sufficiently large quantity is when you start to get conspiracy theories are born. As if there's enough of a place where a message can be delivered to a large population. Writ large, here we are, you know, 300 years later, still going on.
Mm.
We are stupid, aren't we, people?
Well, I mean, it's just similar to the propaganda, you know, the Nazi war machine, etc. They fed the German public all this stuff, and they believed it. You know, it's similar to what Trump's doing now in America, and Nigel Farage to a certain extent, you know, spewing out all these facts and figures about immigrants being the root cause of everything, not millionaires and billionaires and bankers screwing over our economies for their own personal gain. Not about them. It's the immigrants and the trans people. All the same. Anyway, let's move on to brighter things. Can I tell you about something that I've been watching this week?
You can.
Yes, Auntie Peggy. Okay, I shall tell you. That's Lee's dog Fontaine channeling Auntie Peggy. Are you back with us?
Peggy, you're back with us.
Now,
what have you watched this week?
Well, can I just tell you do you ever go through this process where you're watching several things at once, box sets and things, and then you finish everything all at once and you're in a drought and you think, I must find the next thing to watch? that happened to me this week because I finished Small Profits that I talked about last week, which was brilliant. And I finished The Irish Traitors, which won't give anything away to our gazers who might be watching it, but it was phenomenal right up to the end.
Good, isn't it? Really good. I was very happy with the ending of that.
I was very happy with the ending of that, but even that might give something away. But if you haven't watched it, gazers, and you are a Traitors fan, Traitors Island is great, actually. Very fun. So we're like, what we're going to watch now? And I started watching The Lady, which is on ITV. Yeah, The Lady.
Is that the one about Sarah Ferguson's dresser who killed her husband?
Yeah. Well, we don't want to give too much away, but that is what happens.
I think it's in the public domain, darling.
It is in the public domain, and actually it does kind of specify episode 1, scene 1, that is what's happened, and then we go backwards in time. What's great about it, so basically, yes, the Duchess of York, as she was then, back in the late 80s, employed dressers, as they do in the palace, or the royals, etc. And we get this young girl from the north of England. It's kind of more or less a Cinderella story, rags to riches, and then back again. So she gets employed, goes to live in the royal household from this kind of, small town in the north of England, and it follows her journey. What's great about it, I'll work in reverse order because I think you'll be really interested in this, is the 80s fashions. They're amazing. In particular, Sarah, Duchess of York's wardrobe. Do you remember she used to wear them puffball skirts and the bows and the rah-rahs and stuff like that? I mean, it is a sight to behold.
And unfortunately, always, usually next to Diana, who dressed like a dream. And then you got Fergie, who always looked like a burst couch. God love her, didn't she?
That is touched upon in it. And it's great, and it follows it all the way through the 80s and then the 90s, so you get the progression of the 90s fashions and stuff. But the revelation of this whole thing, The Lady, is the lead character, played, who is Jane Andrews, who is notorious for this crime that she committed. The lead is played by Mia McKenna-Bruce, who I raved about a few episodes back because she was the star, the main character in the Agatha Christie's Seven Dials. And she's going on to play Ringo Starr's wife in the new Peter Jackson Beatles biopics, etc. Real rising star, won the BAFTA Rising Star. But in this, I mean, she's in every scene of this, more or less. She's absolutely mesmerising. Now, this Jane Andrews that she plays is mentally fragile. But the way this actor, Mia McKenna-Bruce, portrays her, it makes you feel really uneasy. You go through it with her, and there's just very few actors that, in my opinion, that can do that. And I'm just obsessed with this actor now. I mean, I'm not going to go and stand outside a house and bang on a door or anything, but I just think she's a rare talent, she's a rare find, and I would encourage anyone to watch The Lady, because even if it's just for the main performance.
Well, I'll be watching The Lady because I think it might tide me over till when Rivals comes back, which is going to be coming back soon. So I'll give The Lady a whirl because, I'm a sucker for an 80s outfit, darling. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Good
and you'd
work.
be right up your strasse.
Yes. So rather than looking back, we now look forward to next week's episode because, speaking of ladies, it's International Women's Day. What about International Men's Day? Fuck off. And we are looking at The Worm That Turned from the Two Ronnies in 1980, which predicts a future England where women have taken power and changed everything to some dystopian Gestapo jackbooted horror, but it's great fun, isn't it?
It's great fun. I haven't watched it all yet because my parents are flying in this weekend, and I know that if I sit them down and watch it with them, they'll be falling away because it is the Two Ronnies. It's kind of like a little mini series, isn't it? That was kind of peppered into their main series. It's about 6 10-minute episodes, and I've just briefly glanced at it, and even the 2 minutes that I watched, it's fucking hilarious. So
Yeah,
I'm really
it
looking
is.
forward to watching that over the weekend, and we'll be talking about that on Tuesday, won't we, in our main show?
Indeed we will. But until then, please get on the socials, podcast gays. Keep joining the conversation on there, which is still Dynasty has kicked off big time over there. Joan Collins and Dex Dexter are currently leading the charge in conversation. The conversation about the Northeastern accent still rumbles on. The debate, just like, let it go, everybody, let it go, really.
Yeah,
But, and also,
the love for Kenneth Williams rumbles on. Dear Kenny.
dear Kenny, and do get onto our YouTube channel as well to make David a very happy boy.
Please do.
Show them the tears. Show them the tears, viewers. Show them the tears, David.
Please. I'm plugging away and they're just not coming, but they will. That algorithm will not defeat me.
Yeah. You need to get some of that Erica Kirk spray to spray in your eyes so it looks like you're crying before.
Yeah.
For next time. Think on.
I will.
And do email us. We love to hear from you, like we heard from Scott. Please keep in touch with us because it's really nice just to know we're not just shouting into the void angrily at clouds every week. So we love you guys.
Be more Scott. Be more Scott, everybody.
Be more Scott.
You all right,
but in the
darling?
meantime, I'm all right. I'm going to have to go for a lie down now, I think.
Darling, you've done so well to plough through for our gazers. I mean, in the showbiz world, there's no such thing as illness. The show must go on, even if your leg's hanging off. Got to get out on that bloody stage, darling.
Yeah, never let it be said I'm not a trooper, love.
No.
Never let it be said.
No. So, until next week, gazers. Until next Tuesday. So, until next Tuesday, gazers, for the worm that turned. Reservoir.
Reservoir.